Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajulam here. Thank you so much for coming around, and if this is your first time of coming across my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. So for today's tutorial, I'll quickly show you how to cut an open back bodice with a cape for a baby girl. So if you're interested, keep on watching. A 1-year-old baby girl measurement to show you how to go about this cutting. Now the bodice length is 7 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance. That will make it 8 inches. I'm going to mark that out and I'll connect to a straight line. Okay. Now this is it. The shoulder measurement is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4 because my paper is on fold. Then I'll come down by half an inch, which is the shoulder slope. That is the point there. Now for the neck width, I'll be making use of 2 inches for the neck width and the neck depth of 2 inches as well. So here is the 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect. So I'm going to connect this point to this other point here. Now the armhole is 3.5, so I'm going to mark out 3.5 from the shoulder slope. So this is 3.5 there, and then I'm going to mark out the half of the shoulder measurement, which is 4, and then I'll connect to a straight line. If you're a returning subscriber, you should be familiar with this by now. So this is the chest line here. So now the next thing to do is to determine the midpoint of the armhole line. This is the armhole, so I'll place my tape to determine the midpoint. This is 3.5. I'll just fold my tape to that point to know the middle point, and then that is the point there. Then I'll go in by 3/4 inch, which is this point here. Now after that, the next thing to mark out is the chest and the waist measurement. So the chest measurement is 20 inches, which is 20 divided by 4, and that will give me 5 inches plus 1 inch for my seam allowance, making it 6. And then I would use the same on the waist measurement because the chest and the waist measurement is the same. So I'm going to connect to a straight line. Then after that, I'll take my French curve and connect the armhole. You can also use your free hand to do this if you don't have a French curve. So you can see that it's very easy to draft it out. Now this is the front pattern. I'm going to cut this out and draft out the back pattern. Then I will show you how to cut the open back. So for the back, I will also start by marking out the bodice length. Remember, it's 8 inches, so that is the point there. And then I'll connect to a straight line. After that, I'm going to mark out my 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So this is the 1 inch for zipper allowance. And then I'll connect to a straight line. So now I'm going to mark out the shoulder measurement, which is 4 inches. From this point, it's 4 inches, and then I'll come down by half an inch for the shoulder slope. Remember, for the neck width, I am using 2 inches. Now the neck depth, this is where you determine how open or wide you want the back to be. So you can decide to make it half of the body's length now, which is 8, and that is 4. If you want to go too deep, you can make it as deep as 5 or even 6. It's up to you. So for this, I'm going to make it 5 inches. By the time you add the big bow, it will cover up the opening at the back. It's going to cover a bit of it. So I will be making this 5 inches deep. So I'm going to use my French curve and place it this way. Here you can decide how you want the shape to be. If it's a V, you place it. If it's a U like this, you place it. If you want it a V, you just keep this straight to give you that V effect this way, and then you connect. If you want to make it a V, if you want to make it a U, it's up to you. So now before all that, I'll connect this shoulder slope to the neck width point like this. And then remember, I use 3.5, which is this point. And then you insert the shoulder measurement. Then you connect to a straight line. This is the chest line. Okay. So now if you want to add a sleeve to your dress, you just connect. You don't have to go in by any inch, you just connect it straight. But if you're not adding any sleeve, you just repeat the same thing I did in the front, which is 3.5. You now check the midpoint of that, and then you go in by 3/4 inch, which is here, and then you connect. It's just as simple as that. Okay, assuming I'm not adding any sleeve, this is how it will also look like the front pattern. Okay, so now the chest measurement, remember, is 5 plus 1 inch for our seam, that is 6. Okay, here is the same, this is 6 on this edge. Now on the waist area, you go up by half an inch. Okay, and then you use your curve and just connect it to a straight line. Let me make this line straight so that you understand easily. Then you place your curve this way and connect. That way it will give it a slight curve at the waist area on the back. Okay, when you do it this way, you end up having a matching and a fitted dress. Okay, so this is it now. I'm going to cut it out and show you how you cut out the cape. And this other one is the back. So when you place this on your fabric, you just cut it out. What you do before you add your cape, or how you cut out your cape, you sew the shoulder line first. Okay, let me pin this so that you understand easily. So I'm going to pin on the shoulder line. So I just finished pinning it. I'm assuming this is the stitch that you're supposed to do. So after stitching the shoulder line, you just take your fabric and then place this over. You place this over like this, and then you pin the neckline together with your fabric. You're going to pin it all around because that is how the cape will go. The cape will go from this end to this other And so I'm going to pin it now, and then after pinning, you can use your chalk or whatever you're working with and trace the neckline back to the back side. Okay, so let me just pin this here so that you understand. So for the cape, after pinning it, you can just trace it out. This is how to cut out the cape parts. You can just trace this with your chalk or whatever you're working with. Trace the neck all round, okay, as I am doing, because the cape will go through to the back side. Okay, so you trace it. Now this way is where you will determine how many inches you would want your cape to be. So after tracing that, now I am going to remove the pin or the pattern. You just remove it and then decide how many inches you want the cape to be. So after that, now you decide how many inches you want the cape to be. When you open it up, you can now adjust your tracing and do it very well. Okay, now you decide how many inches you want the cape. You can decide to make your cape 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark this 3 inches here. So you're going to mark that 3 inches all the way around as I am doing. Okay, so this is 3 inches. As you're marking, you're connecting. As you can see, I have a shortage here, but I believe you understand what I am saying. You just connect and keep on marking out the 3 like that as you're going, and be connecting. So when you get to the other end, you now remove the 1 inch for the zipper. Remember, I included it when I was marking that part. So there, that is when you should remove that. Okay, so that you can have space to fix your zipper. Now after marking this out, remember you're going to double it. It should be 6. Then remember to also add your 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch seam allowance, depending on how many inches you like using as your seam allowance. Okay, so I'll just connect this now. Now this is how the cape will look like. Okay, now when you're cutting, this should be in 2 pieces so that by the time you join, it will give you exactly what you want. Now after that, you remove 1 inch, which is for the zipper allowance. Remember that you just remove the 1 inch, and that is how easy it is to draft this. Okay, when you're cutting now, you just cut it off, but always remember to add your seam allowance in whatever pattern you're drafting. So that is it for today. I believe now you can make this simple dress all by yourself following this method. So please subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. So see you soon.